It's a bit on. It's a bit bright, isn't it? Ooh. Oh dear, 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 dear. That's no good. There we go. Let's just do that slightly. That's better. That's better, ain't it? How the devil are you? Just coming on to do a little bit of an explanation video, really. So a little bit of talking, you know, maybe a little bit of sort of feet ups on the desk. If I can get my leg up, I can't get my leg up. Look. So a little bit of explaining about the leaderboard and the memberships and a bit of an investment update. So where do we start? Well, we have all you people that have been here for the last couple of years. So you know what everything that's gone on. But we also have the new people that have no idea what's going on. And I have no wish to sort of get into the nitty-gritties and the unpleasantries and all the rest of it and go over all that ground again. I don't want to do that. It's no good. It doesn't help anybody. But it's still, there's a couple of bits that need mentioning. So I've been struggling with myself. How do I put this across, really? So basically, a couple of years ago, I had a simple little idea, and that little idea for investments was I would get people to invest, and then I would give those people a percentage back after a year or 2 years or whatever. And that percentage could have been something like 25% or whatever it was. You know, there was various amounts for various things that I did. I think some of them were 15, some of them were 20, 25. And you got 50% over something like 2 or 3 years. So, and that worked a dream. That worked sweet. It gave me the money that I needed to invest into the business. It gave me the money I needed to go out and get coin and be able to search through those coins and be able to pay people to search through those coins and so on. And we had a channel going, which was quite a lot of hours on the channel. And I had my fallouts with 288 group. Pardon me, bits of minerals. As well as Rollmin, etc. And court actions I've been wanting to take with those and deal with issues that I won't go into now, but some of those have been started, by the way. So for people out there that are thinking, when are you going to take them into court? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? I've actually started on that. Now, a lot of that got delayed, and things got delayed because a series of events started. I had issues with the YouTube channel. I had issues with certain people that did a phenomenal amount of damage to not only to the channel, but to my business overall. And that damage has been going on for a couple of years, and it's been really, really difficult to get that damage stopped. Now, I've often likened it to somebody, you know, to try and put it in the sense of a way of understanding. I've often likened it to somebody building an extension on their house. And every day, and let's say that extension's on the front of the house, right? And every day or every other day, you're coming out of your house to go to work, and oh no, you notice that somebody's taken a sledgehammer to the wall that you're building. Oh, annoyance, frustration. Okay, when I get home from work or the weekend, I'll get the stuff out and I'll start doing it again, continuing to build your extension. And as fast as you fix these, plug these holes, you know, where somebody has come along and walloped it with a sledgehammer, as fast as you fix it and you try and fix it, do what you can to repair the damage, you come out your house a couple of days later and they've taken down another section and you come out your house a couple of days later and they've done another load of damage. This time they've smashed the window in that you're putting in. The next time they've done this damage, that damage, whatever. And it goes on and on and on and on for like a couple of years. If you can imagine that scenario, then you could get a grasp, you could imagine in your own mind's eye how frustrating that is. If you add into that the fact that you are seriously ill, having operations and heart attacks and one thing and another, these things that just, we're all ill. We all have things wrong with us and stuff. I'm no different. I'm not special. But you mix into it that you have these issues, that you're not well, etc., and that you're pretty ill, and still this damage keeps on going, and you keep fighting and you keep fighting, and you know who's doing it, and you call them out and blah blah blah. But still, that damage is done, and then their friends come along and they do damage. So now you have all these different people that are causing you damage, and you can't see exactly who these people are because the damage is done behind closed doors. And that goes on and on and on. Now, you might, if you can imagine that, then you could get a grip in your head of how frustrating that can be. I mean, it could drive you to distraction. It has me, to the point where I've gone online and I've snotted and cried and, begged for leave me alone and all the rest of it. And I've done all those things, as well as getting on, been on there, being Mr. Angry and, wanting to punch people's lights out for the damage they've done, etc., etc., etc. And all through it all, I've learned something, which is that the one thing that worked is getting my head down and just working through it. Just trying to work through it as much as possible. Trying to ignore the damage, trying to ignore these horrible people, trying to ignore all of that stuff, and just work, and get my head down and just do it. That, and the fact that I actually got round to start taking legal proceedings out against certain people, and that has now got to a place where things have quietened down an awful lot, and there's a lot of stuff that's now not happening, which I'm grateful for. Long may that continue. So that's just a bit of background into the last couple of years. Now, at the same time, because of all this damage that was done, then we have the pandemic. Wallop. Nobody could see that coming. When we had the pandemic and everybody went home, because there was a few people working for me, I mean, this room was quite a busy hive of activity. Everybody went home with a pandemic. And to make matters worse, excuse me, I found that I had more than £100,000 worth of stock. Poof, gone, just disappeared. Now, I didn't know it until I started looking for it. But then when I looked for it and I couldn't find it, it was like, oh no. Now, of course, if you now and I've asked you to put yourself, imagine yourself in my position a little bit there, didn't I? And I said, if you can imagine in your mind's eye, you could maybe get how frustrating this is. So now imagine in your mind's eye, if you will, that you're an investor. You're one of these people that have put money in and you're waiting for your return. Quite right, quite right. And you see these things going on. I mean, at one point I went on and said, look, this is going to get really hairy, and but I'm going to remain steadfast, and I will be as transparent as possible. It will all be there. I will show you the insides of my bum if that's what it takes to show people that I wasn't doing anything wonky, because I was continually harassed and made to look like I was doing things wonky. And I just I figured at the time, the only way to get through this is to just be as transparent as possible, and then nobody can pick fault, So that's what I tried to do, but that's not good for the investors, because the investors are seeing this and they're seeing the problems that were going on at the time. Then they see the pandemic hitting. They must have been thinking, oh God, how safe is my money? Then I'm coming on and I'm saying about all this stuff I've had stolen, and I mean, even if I was looking at these videos that somebody else had put up, you could call it like a video diary, I suppose. That's pretty much what we did over a period, or what I did over a period. It was more like a video diary of of how things are going and how I'm getting through it in the business and one thing and another. So I suppose you could sort of call it a bit like a video diary and stuff. And so, you know, you've got to imagine the investors finding out that, oh, you've had £100,000 of a stock list. Oh, what's next? Oh, yeah, of course you have. Of course you have. I mean, if I was looking at some of that now and it was somebody else, you would get to a point where you'd be forgiven for thinking, oh, yeah, what story are you going to tell us today? Yeah, we've got that one now. What we were about bad news, and I had £100,000 of stock nicked, and the pandemic. And now, what story are you going to give us today? What other reason for putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off? And I hit a point at which I crashed and burned, essentially. I hit a point at which the plane just went into the side of a mountain. And I had, and the most difficult thing in the world for me at that time, and I was so angry and all sorts of emotions, was to go onto the camera and go, well, that's it. But then I got another go at it, because people came forward and said, look, Ian, you know, everybody knows you've got stock. You might not have any money, but everybody knows you've got stock. So let's do a deal. And you can settle me another way. And I started doing that. And we did an awful lot of settling. And that gave me a bit more oomph. And it felt like I had a second wind. It felt like I had a second go at it, a second life at it. Because, you know, one minute I'm crashed and burned. The next minute I have a chance. And I likened it at the time, if some of you would remember, to the plane crashing, all this smoke and explosions everywhere and all of that going on. And then out of the smoke, oh, what's that? Hang on. What's that? Suddenly, a figure appears and starts walking out of that smoke, gets up and starts walking out of the smoke. When you think, shouldn't be anybody left alive, all of a sudden you've got this figure. It's coming out of the smoke. And that was me. That's what I likened it to. It was like, you know, how did that happen? How did I even get a chance? And so from that moment on, I have worked furiously. I have worked my socks off. Now, I have managed to do a little bit of settling and so on. And then what I needed to do was, as I said at the time, crashed and burned means crashed and burned. So, a little bit of spinning. So I knew at that time what I need is I need to get back to where I was, 10 grand a week, at least as a minimum. And there's no point me trying to chase that kind of money, because I haven't got £100 a month coming in now. Now I'm crashed and burned. What am I going to do? So I have to get £100 a month coming in first. And at the time I said, and then when I've got that £100 a month, I need to get that into £100 a week. I know I've got all of this, but there's no point thinking about that if you ain't got the basics coming in. So we need £100 a week. And then when we've got £100 a week, we need to build that up. We need to turn it into £250 a week. Then we need to turn it into £500 a week. Then we need to turn it into £1,000 a week, and so on and so on and so on and so on, to get up to what the targets are. We need realistic targets to work to. It's no good starting off going, right, well, we've got nothing coming in, but we're going to chase £10,000 a week. Everybody would have thought I was a lunatic. Mind you, some still do. So that was the important thing. And so that's what I worked on. And so I created £100 a month. Then I created £100 a week. Then I turned that into £250 a week. Then I turned that into £500 a week, and then eventually got to £1,000 a week. And then once at £1,000 a week, we now need to get to £2,000 a week, and 3 and 4 and so on until we get to 10. Now, I could probably say that we turn over somewhere in the region of about £3,000 to £5,000 a week at the moment, which I think is immense. I think that is phenomenal. I think it is massive to be able to turn over that kind of money, especially when you consider where we was. That's like a drowning man clutching a straw in the middle of a river and getting to a point where he's got a nice, comfortable, dry raft. You know? Maybe that's a silly what's name, but anyway. So we've now achieved to get to sort of that kind of figure. So when I say that I'm chasing £10,000 a week, now I don't look so much like a lunatic. Now it doesn't seem like it's too much of a fairy story, right? Because I've got a third of the way there, third to half of the way there. So now we ain't got too far to go. All I've got to do is double what I'm doing now, and I will get to where I want to be. Now, you also have to understand that in turning over this kind of money, it's not all profit, because I'm selling stuff at 16 quid that I'm only making a couple of quid on, literally, after you take out the eBay fees, the postage, the cost of the item, all of the expenses that go with it. I'm probably clearing about £1.50 profit on some of this stuff. You know, I'm selling silver proofs where I'm actually physically clearing between £5 and £10 profit. I'm selling Peedful silver proofs where I'm actually clearing after expenses somewhere in the region of about 11 quid profit on the item. So, you know, even though you're buying it for say £78 wholesale, and I'm at a Peedful, right, and I'm retailing that for say 115, you'd look at that and think, well, you're making 30 quid profit here. Actually, no, you're not. It actually works out to, when you finish up everything, it works out to about 11 quid is what I make, because you've got to pay the eBay fees, you know, which ain't cheap, on 115 quid, for example, postage, blah, 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 blah. But nevertheless, the actual figure that I'm chasing, the figure that I'm attaining, it's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. So I've managed to get back into doing the package coins. I can't get into doing the gold at the moment because it is just far too expensive. Because when I buy my coins, I have to buy them from Europe, even though they're coming from the UK. I order from Europe. Europe orders from the Royal Mint. The Royal Mint package them up, send them over to Europe, where they're unboxed, repackaged, sent over to me in Weymouth, which is a bit unfair. I've always said that's unfair. And you have a couple of big boys like Westminster, 288 Group, etc., Con Club, so on, who are local to me. They're really local to me, and they get delivered direct from the mint. They don't have to go through all this palaver. So you then have the expenses of the extra postage and one thing and another. Well, since Brexit, you also got the extra expense of another 20-25% gone, because I have to pay import duty on the items that I'm buying, even though the items that I'm buying are made up in Wales and they're made in the UK, because they're going out of the country to come back into the country. The carbon footprint is ridiculous and horrendous. And I have to pay import duties of around 20-25%. Now, when you consider that the cost of buying a gold proof 50p or £2 is about 950 quid now, ish, depending. So give or take a little bit. And they're saying, you know, that the recommended retail price, because the recommended retail price is what the mint sells them for on their website, is something like 1,150. You might think, well, at least you've got 200 quid there profit. Well, you haven't actually, because by the time you pay the import duties, which is 20%, 25% on top of that, you're now into, you know, 20%, 25% of 900 quid is, let's say 25%, it's easy to work out. So 50% is 450, 225. So you put 225 on top of 950, you're now at 1175. Then you need your eBay fees and your other postage fees that you've got to pay for, and bits and bobses, right? And your money transaction fees and all of that. So, if you sold if I sold a gold coin for like 1,200 quid, on the one hand, you think I'm making 300 quid on it. Actually, if I sold one at 1,200 quid, I would be making a loss, an actual physical loss, which is why I can't be offering the gold. So I'm offering the silvers and the peatforts only just, but the golds I can't offer those. It's only the cartel and the monopoly of the Royal Mint and 288 Group and these people that they're dealing with can actually stock those. I know that sounds like sour grapes. It is sour grapes, but what can you do? You have to work with what you got. Bit of subliminals. So that's a bit of an update on our story, a bit of an update on where we are. I am managing to get these products. It's not easy getting these products. When the plane hit the mountain, my debt with the company that I buy from was £40,000. So when we hit the mountain, that's what I owed them at a time when it was like, money's not there and one thing and another. It's like I owed them that. Now I've paid off about 35 grand of that. So I'm slowly getting to a point whereby not only will my debt be paid, but I'm getting to a point where I'd be able to order stuff and then get it again on my 30 days, get back to getting my 30 days again. And that makes an awful lot of difference. I've been in the position of ordering 1,000 of this and 1,000 of that. Well, when a new coin comes out, you order 1,000 packets of it, you're actually outlaying somewhere in the region of about 7 grand. But anyway, we've got through it all, haven't we? We've got through it all, and this is the point at which we've got to. So then I started, I invented a game. I started giving things away because I lost the plot a little bit in having so much harassment to deal with that I just thought, well, everything that I tried, the eBay account got closed down, the crowdfunding campaigns got closed down. Whatever I did, these people attacked it and closed it down and took it away, smashed it to bits. And I had to start again from nothing and start again from nothing and start again from nothing. And that was quite tiresome. But we got through that. We got through that and things picked up. But at the time, there was a few points at which I lost the plot a bit. And I was like, well, you ain't gonna let me sell my stuff. So sod it, I'll give it all away. And I started giving it away. And then my brain being what it is, I thought, well, supply and demand, all of that, it's what you know. It's what I've known since I was 6 years old. I will develop a way to give my stuff away and get people to pay me for giving it away. And that's what I did. And then we started with the YouTube members and the Patreon members, and that's where the wheels first came into being. And then we had some domain wheels to start up with, and then I was put in a position at one point, and I had about 80 of them, 70 of them, and I just released a whole lot and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to do from now on. This is going to be the way it is. And the help that I've had from people like Chris and Lorna and Katie and Andy and Derek and Mick and Lisa and Richard and so on in the team has been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, for me to say thank you to them, if I turned up at each and every one of them's door with a bunch of flowers and a bottle of scotch, it wouldn't be enough. If I turned up there with a bundle of £5 notes, it wouldn't be enough. It was what they've done and the work that they've all done has been phenomenal, and it's helped me, massively helped me. Chris has been an absolute anchor, and he's helped me develop, if you like, a couple of games. And these games that we play, these games are our business now. These games are what I do. This is my business. Now, I didn't know it at the time when we were setting it all up that, you know, it was a means to an end. I am one of those people that if you take everything away from me that I've got and you leave me crates and crates and crates of lemons or oranges, I will make lemonade. I'll find a way to turn those lemons and oranges into a coin. I will do something. I won't sit on my ass. The one thing I will not do is sit on my ass. I can't. Never been able to. Got to work. Have to work. Work is what keeps us alive. If we have no work, if we have no purpose, then it's very easy to stagnate and just wither away. So we developed a load of games and the memberships. And then something really important happened now. And I'm trying to explain all of this in layman's terms, and I know it's going to go on a bit, but it's going to give you a full update, and it helps the people that have been here from before, as well as helping the people that are new. So these games, the membership wheels and the prizes that you can win, this is now what I do. And I have a belief in me. And that belief is, let's take things one at a time. So let's take changechecker.com. Now, 288 Group, they own Westminster Collection. They own change-checker.org. They turn over £50 million a year. They're the 8th biggest, fastest growing company in the UK, fastest growing company in the Southwest. And phenomenal amount of money. I own changechecker.com. I have my own arguments and disagreements with the Royal Mint and with Change Checker and 288 Group, etc. And I have a belief that there is a need in the marketplace for a website like changechecker.com where you can safely buy and sell and trade coin, numismatics. eBay is a very fickle place. eBay is a very dangerous place. So is Facebook. Both of them are full of fraud. Both of them are full of fakes. You buy something on there, you can't guarantee that you're getting the real item. You can't guarantee that you're getting a real Kew Gardens or whatever it is that you're buying. And so many people have been caught out. Changechecker.com, you don't have that trouble. Transactions are underwritten. And it's a safe place to trade. But it is a small community. And, you know, when people start to sell, because I'm sure it will happen, when people start to trade in fakes and all the rest of it and pass fakes off as good stuff, then we'll have something to say about it and we'll get rid of those people. So, but the fact is, the market, the community itself is crying out for somewhere to trade. You've got sites like Numista and so on, but they're very complicated. It's not saying anything bad against the sites or the people that run them. I don't know them, and I've never bought and sold on there really, but I do know from looking at it, it's very complicated. And it's not something that I've found very easy to navigate my way around. And several other sites don't seem to be that easy to navigate around. So we've made this as simple as we can. There's also an in-house payment system called CyberCash that doesn't charge you a penny. So, for example, when you sell something on eBay for £10 and you used to accept PayPal or you accept the eBay money, whatever, you know, you're not getting £10. You're getting less than £10. Whereas on changechecker.com, you're not losing any money for the transactional costs. There's a very slight couple of percent commission for when you sell an item, but you're not losing any money transactionally wise. So if you leave it in your account, you're actually better off, and you can buy something else with that money that's sitting in your account, and you turn it around like that. Now, I have a belief that at some point, Change Checker will want that site. I own, as a lot of you know now, I own half a dozen or more Change Checker domains, as I own half a dozen or more Royal Mint domains. Are they going to be wearing out a track to my door, banging on the door, wanting me to sell them those domains at the moment? No. It's going to take a lot of work in order to make the domains that I've got, to make them, the word escapes me, but to make them wantable, which is not a word, but in order to make 288 Group really want those domains and make the Royal Mint really want those domains, I've got a lot of work to do. And I know this, but I can, and so little bit by little bit, Rome wasn't built in a day. We do it bit by bit. So at the moment, it's getting changechecker.com up and running and off the ground. Now, once that's up and running and off the ground properly, and that's nearly there, then that's turning over business on its own. There'll be people transacting, there'll be people buying and selling coins, and there'll be a little income coming out of there. And that is growing. Every week there are new members going on to changechecker.com. It is growing and growing and growing. And at some point, they will want it. At some point. Not now. A year or two ago, they tried to get it off me for free and sent solicitors after me, big, expensive London solicitors. And I told them exactly where to go. They threatened to take me to court to get the domains. They never got the domains. They never attempted to take me to court. I own those domains, so they're mine. They're our business. They're all part of our business. And we are now building our own Change Checker brand, as well as building a TGBCH brand. Now, I can't build a Westminster brand and a TGBCH brand and a Change Checker brand and a Royal Mint brand and a this brand. I can't do all of that all in 5 minutes. I can't do it all at the same time. It's got to be done bit by bit. But you will notice that some of the domains that we've got, when you go onto the domain, you've actually got information there. Like if you go onto zodiac50p.com or zodiac50p.co.uk, you'll see, you go on there and you've got like what looks like a website there. And so that is going to be replicated over all the domains, but it takes time. It takes webmaster work, as you know, and so on to do. But we will get there. Now, at some point, I believe that they will want to buy that, changechecker.com. If they don't, then I will trade on the changechecker.com for years and years and years and years to come. And the bigger that gets, the more money it will make. But like everything, it's all for sale if they wanted to buy it. And the people that have bought into it, the people that have bought their shares in the domains, will get paid out at some point in the future. That is my belief. So that brings us on to things like the leaderboard. So somebody was saying to me about a week or so ago, and I said, well, rather than answer you now in a message, I'm gonna set some time aside to do a video and explain it properly in that video. So you've got your leaderboard points. So if you go onto ians.tv, you will see that there is a tab there for the leaderboard. And you click on that leaderboard and you've got everybody's names that are on the memberships. These are the draws that we have every day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where we spin the wheels and someone wins a prize. All the memberships. And you've got people there that are on just a couple of 100 points. And you've got people there that are on over 100,000 points. And this person said to me, I've been looking at the amount of points on there, Ian, and I find it crazy because if you're really going to be cashing it in at some point in the future, well, that is a phenomenal lot of money. I mean, we're talking, you've got to be talking over £500,000, maybe even £1 million. And this is correct. So where's that money going to come from? Well, this is where I explain that a little bit better. So what we have is we have a big game going on, right? Now our game is our wheels, our prize wheels, where you can win prizes. You can win raffle credit to go on tgbchraffle.com and enter different raffles to win silver coins and gold coins and all sorts of a full set of A to Zs and whatever. There's even a chest of 32 silver bars on there, something like that. Anyway, so you can win lots of stuff on there, and you can win lots of stuff on the prize wheels and one thing and another. And in order to get on the prize wheels, you have to buy your entry. Once you've bought your entry, once you've bought a membership, shall we say, which is not buying an entry, you're buying a membership, the entry is free. You buy the membership on the domain, and that means that you are in the draw for that domain. So if you buy five memberships for that same domain, then you're in the draw 5 times. If you buy 20 memberships, you're in the draw 20 times, right? You're on the wheel that many times. And then the wheel spins, we get a winner, and then we spin the prize wheel and find out what they've won. And sometimes we spin a multiplier and find out how many times they've won it. That's the process that we do. So the memberships themselves, the amount of memberships that I can sell are somewhere in the region of about £30 million worth, because we have added a few more. It's about £30 million worth of memberships that can be sold. Now we're talking telephone numbers now. We're talking, pie in the sky stuff. But that is the if you added up, and we did a stock take one day, and that was 20 odd million, and then we've, like I say, we've added a load more. So if we sold every single membership that we've got, you're looking at over £30 million worth. That's what that means, basically. So what I did was I then put a little bit of a twist on that game, and I viewed my membership as currency. So I then made it possible for me to buy things with those memberships. So I would put a call out on the video and say, for example, to people, I could do with some £2 coins, or I could do with this, or I could do with that. And you would each, not each, but some of you would send me coins, £2 coins, 50p's, and I would buy them off you and give you the value in a membership voucher, which you would then use to buy a membership for one of the wheels, and therefore hopefully win on those wheels. So it then became, my memberships then became a currency, a form of currency. And I've been able to trade with some of you on, buy from you and give you memberships. And then, so instead of you, for example, selling me, instead of you selling me coins for cash, and then you use that, I give you that cash, and then you use that cash to come back and buy memberships, we circumvented that idea, and we went straight from, well, you give me the coins and I will give you memberships in payment, because I haven't exactly got much of this. So I'll give you memberships and we'll just do away with that, right? And a few of you said, yeah, all right, Ian, we're happy to help. We want you to get out of trouble. We want you to do well. So yes, I will sell you some £2 coins or some 50p's or whatever, and I'll have memberships. Who knows? I might land on a gold coin. That has happened, by the way. And so now we have a bit of a currency. Well, you can now say, well, if you've got £30 million worth, you've got £30 million of a currency. So you can win memberships on the prize wheel, for example. So you can join in the streams and one thing or another, and you could win 100 quid's worth or 500 quid's worth of memberships, right? And so that comes with the points as well, and you'll see that the leaderboard points goes up. Pardon me. Now, at some point in the future, there are things that I feel will happen. So one of the things I think will happen is that I will get to a point whereby directors of one or two businesses like 288 Group or Royal Mint will eventually sit around a table, or it'll be through the courts, but at some point somebody will sit around the table, directors, shareholders, whatever, and say, we're really not happy about this, we don't like this, we're not happy about that man owning that website and all the rest of these websites, we need to buy them off him. I believe that will happen one day, and some of you believe that will happen, and therefore we're sitting on a little gold mine there until the day that that happens. When that does happen, people get paid out. What if it doesn't happen, Ian? What if it never happens? What other things are we going to do? Well, we've set up other income streams. So there are things like a raffle subscription. So for £6.75 a month, a person can pay that and they will get added automatically. They're free because every single raffle over at tgbchraffle.com comes with a free entry code. So every single one of you can go over there and you can enter every single raffle for free without paying any money. And there are people that do. There's quite a few people that do. They never pay any money whatsoever, and they just enter their free raffles. And every now and again, they come up with one and they win one. Fair play. So, you know, you have that going on. You can you get added £6.75 a month. You get added to every single new raffle that comes out. Well, that in itself has an immediate maximum of 10,000 people that can do that, pay £6.75 a month and get added automatically to every raffle that comes out. So that has an immediate, if you like, without having to do any more work, it is possible to have 10,000 people on that. Now, and that is the maximum. But even though I say that that's the maximum, even that comes with a hesitancy, because if you have got 10,000 people on that, and therefore you're taking £66,000 a month, then you've got the money to invest in the software long before you've got the maximum 10,000 people. You've had the money to invest in the software in order to have more than 10,000 on it. So you could say that it's unlimited. However, I'm going by, if we suddenly add overnight 10,000 people, that would wallop. That would be the maximum that we could do, right? So what you're talking about there is the potential. The reason this is important is because you've got the potential of £66,000 a month, £67,500 a month coming in each and every month on subscription just for the raffle subscription. Now, is that likely to happen within the next year? No. But as each week goes past, we are taking on more and more people for the raffle subscription. And what generally happens with something like that is anything that's growing exponentially, like a snowball going downhill, is that you start off getting low numbers, like 1 or 2 a week. And then, you know, after so many weeks, you're now getting 2 or 3 people a week. And then after so many more weeks, you're getting 3 or 4 people a week. After so many more weeks, you're getting maybe 6 people a week, then up to 10 people a week. Then it starts growing. You hit 20 people a week, 30, 40, 50, and then you get to a point where you're getting 100 people a week going on, something like that. That's how a snowball will pick up as it's going downhill, and that's how a business growth works, and especially when it's growing exponentially, and it's just growing and growing and growing without you having to do virtually any more work. You know, we're not doing any more work because of it. So that in itself has the potential to bring in 60 grand a month or more, right? So when I have the question of the leaderboard and the points on the leaderboard, and you'll see where this ties in, because when you look at the points that somebody's got, if somebody's got 470 points, that means in my mind's eye, at some point in the future, they're going to get, I will take those 470 points off them by taking the memberships off them and taking them off the wheels, and I will give them £470 back. If somebody's got 10,000 points, then in the future they've potentially got a chance of getting £10,000, and I'll take that away. Now, when it comes down to it, and you go to say to that person with 10,000 points, right, I've got the money now, I'm going to cash that in. That person might go, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, you can cash some in. I'll cash in half, or I'll cash in 8,000, but I don't want to cash in all of it because I'm enjoying the game. Somebody might be sitting there with 100,000 points. And at some point in the future, that person, in my view, will get £100,000. Each point equates to £1. So this brings us to another form of the explanation. In the old days, you'd go into a pub and you'd have a choice between a fruit machine, a pinball machine, although they wasn't as big in this country, but you did get them, pinball machines, big in America, but not as big over here. And essentially a computer machine. And I remember when I was a youngster, I mean, I'm talking like, I don't know, 18-ish. It was Space Invaders. It was a game called Space Invaders, and it was all to do with and firing up. And you got these things coming down to get you, and you're firing up. Space Invaders. Now the thing about Space Invaders and a pinball machine and that kind of thing is they're developed to give you points. They have a leaderboard. And the addiction is not just to the game itself, but the addiction is also in part to do with the number of points that you as a player get, because you want to get to number one on the leaderboard. You want to be the top guy, top girl. You want to be the one who's got more points than anybody else on a pinball machine, so that you've got the high score. And that's what it used to be called, high score or whatever. All it is a leaderboard, and you'd have like a list of people, you know, and you put in what name you are and whatever, right? And a lot of you may remember that kind of stuff, and you still have that kind of thing about now. But nowadays you've got computer games like Angry Birds and I can't even name a load because I don't play them. But the only one I played on Facebook was Mob Wars. But there's all sorts of games that you can play with social media or not social media. And those games involve you playing the game and achieving points. And you can also buy things during the game. So you can actually buy with physical money, right? With money off your card, you can buy extra guns, extra armaments, extra defense, extra buildings, whatever. You never get that back. That money never comes back to you in any way, shape, or form. You don't get prizes or anything like that. You just keep amassing more and more points, but you never, ever get any of it back. You just amass points, you amass more rockets, you amass more bulletproof vests, you amass more of this, you amass more of that, you make bigger buildings, whatever. But you never get the money back. Well, the game that we've developed is a bit like that. The game that we've developed is a bit like that in that you get points, continually get points. Each time you take out a new membership, whether you've won that membership, whether you've won a £200 membership voucher that you've just now spent on 8 £25 memberships to get on those wheels, 8 different wheels, That's cost you £200. You've got a membership voucher for £200. So that pays for that. That gives you 200 points on the leaderboard. And at some point in the future, my aim, my call it what you will, design, my angle, the whole idea of what these games are about and these memberships are about is that at some point in the future, I'll come along and say, right, those 8 £25 memberships that you've got for 200 quid, I'm going to give you 200 quid and I'll take your name off those 8. I'll take them off. So you're no longer on those 8 wheels, 1 times each. You're no longer on there because I'm going to give you your 25 quid back and take you off of puddleduck50p.org once because it's 25 quid a go. So I'll take your name off that wheel once and I'll take a piece of your paperwork, which I've got filed, and that paperwork will get marked as, this has been paid, and therefore that will then go into my accounts as an item that's paid. If you had 8 entries on 8 different wheels costing £25 each, now you've only got 7 because I've bought one of those back, right? So now you've only got 7 entries. And when I buy another one back, you've got 6. And when I buy another one back, you've got 5. And when I buy another one back, you've got 4, right? So now the game is you building points and me at some point in the future, when things are better, I then buy them back off you. You get more points, I buy them off you. You get more points, I buy them off you. So just like playing any other kind of computer game, in a sense, you build and build and build and build and build, but you have the owner of the game coming along and every now and again going, yeah, well, you want some money? I'm going to buy them off you, give you some money. Now, I can only do that when obviously there's more money coming in than what I need, more money coming in than what I can pay out, more money coming in than what I owe, etc. And that's not going to happen immediately. It would be like making the computer game or the pinball game, and therefore you want people to play your pinball game because you want them to chase the highest score, etc. And you're going to develop a way to give them something back for the points that they get, but you can't do that straight away because you've only just built a game. You need them to come along and keep putting money in, don't you? Because you've got to get money for the game. So that in a way sort of explains it a little bit, right? Where the money's going to come from for me to be able to pay back these memberships, it comes back from, or will come back from, people buying into the memberships. It will come from people paying for the raffles. Yes, you can win raffle credit, but if you want an extra entry, you've got to pay for it. So that the more members that has, the more income there will be from the raffle side. Again, the more members that has, the more income there will be from people on the raffle subscription, paying £6.75 a month and being entered into every raffle for free. Remember, that as on its own, as a standalone income thing, that has the potential of 60 grand a month or more to come in every single month. The potential of that is there. If you can sell 1 of something, you can sell 2 of something. And if you sell 2 of something, you can sell 5 of something. If you can sell 5, you can sell 10. And if you can sell 10, you can sell 100. Well, we've already sold 1, and then we sold 2, and then we sold 5, and then we sold 10. We're not quite at 100 yet, but we're on our way. And once we do hit 100, I think we're up to about 20-ish. Once we do hit 100 of those, then that on its own is £600 a month coming in. £600 a month coming in for something that doesn't, in a sense, cost any money. It's a service that we're offering. What you're paying for is the service to save you the time it takes you to just go in and do every single one and check all the new raffles that come out. So even without everything else, even without any income from selling coins, even without any income from memberships, without any income from raffles, without any income from anywhere else, just the potential of what can come in from the £6.75 a month, the potential of that £60,000 a month, just that on its own, if that was achieved, would pay for everything that needs to be paid for without anything else. And I would be able to pay Leaderboard points with that money, without anything else. But I haven't. I've got that, and I've got money that might come in from the raffles, and I've got money that comes in from the memberships. And we now have things like a full Monty membership, which will be explored and explained in another video, so as not to confuse too much. And there's money that comes in from that. There's the YouTube and Patreon subscriptions, which are cash subscriptions. There's Hector's Draw and George's Draw that bring in cash. Pardon me. There are the sale of coins that bring in cash. And that's another area that to me is a massive, massive income potential, is to get to a point where we can produce 1,000 of our own coins. I mean, at the moment I do, some coins are limited edition to 1,000, some are limited to 100. And the reason I've gone to 100 is because there isn't a customer base to do thousands. So we do 100. But that coin won't be done again. Once that token or coin, whatever you want to call it, is done, it is done, and we do 100 of them, and there's a COA numbered 1 to 100. We won't be replicating that again and doing that again and cheating. We'll go on to a different design. So I've now made it. What we've done is we've invented a brand new collectible commodity that didn't exist before. This collectible commodity is a TGBCH token with a TGBCH head side, like lion as the head side, our logo, or one of our logos, and a design on the reverse. And it comes with a COA numbered 1 to 100, so that it actually becomes virtually impossible to collect the entire collection. That makes it sought after. As time goes on, people are going to come out and they're going to want the entire collection. If you are one of the people that has gone down the road of going, yeah, I'm supporting you, Ian, and I'm buying one of every coin that you do because you want the full collection, there are not going to be many people that can do what you've done. Not many. I mean, the absolute maximum is 100 people if you make 100, but even that's not possible. So the amount of people that will actually be able to collect an entire collection of TGBCH tokens, you can't have no more than 10. And that's it. There's probably only about 10 people in the world that will ever have a full collection, I imagine, because there are too many and, too few. Too many designs and too few of each design. Now, I'm working towards a time where I can bring out a new one and say, right, we're bringing out a new one. There's 100 of these available. And I do it on a pre-order because we order them and get them made. And by the time they arrive, we've sold the entire 100. That is my first place that I'm working towards at the minute. And I would honestly say that at the moment, we would sell probably 20 to 30% of them before they arrive. So I've got a bit of work to do in order to get to a point where I can sell the entire 100 before they've even arrived. Once I get to that point, I'll be working towards a time where I can do that to 1,000, where I can say we're going to make this one, there's 1,000 available because we'll never make more than 1,000. That's something I already decided on. That keeps everything limited edition. It's not going to be like 288 group where, the Only Fools and Horses collection, which is great. I love the Only Fools and Horses collection. I love the nursery rhymes and all of that. But And their tokens, the same as ours are, their colour enamel and colour whatever, same as ours. But with the Only Fools and Horses, there's something like 40,000 of them, of these sets made. Well, I think if you make too many, they're not real, it's not real money. They don't have a face value. I think you're in danger of that product ending up on car boot sales for silly money. Because you get to a point where you can't give them away because they've made so many of them that they don't hold any kind of a value. And that will be a real shame because it will damage that side of the market. You need to keep things collectible. So for us, 1,000 is the maximum, keeps it collectible then. No matter how busy we get, no matter how big we get, 1,000 will be the maximum. That way, in the future, you'll have people fighting over themselves to get that 1,000 because that's all there is. And then the market will take care of itself, and then people will be trading in those items. They'll be buying them off you, and then they'll be selling them to other people and so on. So, but imagine getting to a point where I can make a coin / token, and I can tell everybody, right, this is one we're making now. We've just ordered it this week. Register your interest, pre-order, blah, blah, blah. And we sell 1,000 of them before they arrive. That to me is the ultimate goal as far as the TGBCH coins / tokens are concerned. That is the ultimate goal. To be able to do 1,000 and have that entire 1,000 sold before they even get here. And each time we, if we do a set of 6 and there's 1,000 of each, that's 6,000 coins, and we release it and go, this is what we're doing, and we have every single one of them sold before they even arrive. Now, at that point, let me tell you, not only will I be making money hand over fist, but our investors will be making money hand over fist. We get to a point just on the raffle site where we've got all these subscriptions going on and we're making 50 grand a month or whatever, or 10 grand a month, or, remember it has a 60 odd thousand pound a month potential. But even if you're not using that entire potential and it's only giving you 10 grand a month, that's a lot of money coming in each and every month. That's money going towards investors and the business and me. I can get another couple of waistcoats. I'm putting on a bit more weight. Look, it's a bit tight. So this is where the money is going to come from. Now, I give away certain prizes every week, like Hector's draw every day and George's draw. Hector's draw is at the beginning of every stream. George's draw is at the end of every stream. To start off with, I'm subsidizing that. So the value of the prizes that are given away doesn't match the money that's coming in. The money that's coming in is less value than the value of the prizes that we're giving away, which makes the value of entering the competition phenomenal. But at some point in the future, the amount of money that's coming in for Hector's draw will far exceed the amount of money I'm giving away in Hector's draw. The amount of money that comes in for George's draw, eventually, when more and more people come on board, and as the weeks go by, we have another person come on and another person come on, and they're joining in the draws and so on. So as that money comes in, we then are paying out less in value of prizes than the amount of money coming in. Same with the investors draw once a month. The amount of money going out at the moment in the prizes is more than what comes in. But at some point in the future, more money will come in than will actually go out in prizes. So there are various areas where I've set things up to produce various incomes, so that we have an income from the memberships, an income from the raffle site, an income from the raffle subscription, an income from YouTube subscription, an income from the Patreon subscription, an income from the full Monties, an income from Hector's draw, an income from George's draw, an income from the investors draw, an income from selling our coins / tokens, an income from selling silver bars, an income from doing Royal Mint silver coins, an income from doing Peatfort coins, an income from doing Royal Mint package coins, and income from doing naked coins, which is where they're not in a packet. All of these incomes, all of these different incomes, all of them growing exponentially. Each and every one of these incomes is growing. Not a single income I've just mentioned there is actually going down. And I've just mentioned about 15 different incomes, and every single one of those incomes is actually going up on a month by month basis. Up. Every single one of them. So I have no doubt in my mind that things are going to work out. Now, there was a point, crashed, burned, mountain, plane, remember? There were times where I just wanted, I don't know about a hole appearing underneath me. There are times where I just wanted to go and dig my own hole in the garden and put myself in it and just cover myself over. There have been times where I've just wanted to close my eyes and say, oh, get me off this roundabout. I don't want to be on this roundabout anymore. The world is too black. Everything's too black. It's too big a hurdle to get over. It's too much to be able to do it. But what I did was I started compartmentalizing things. I realized quite early on I could not overcome every single obstacle at the same time. That was not humanly possible. What I needed to do was, first and foremost, I needed to accept the position I was in. I needed to be able to talk to the people that I owed money to say, I need you to stick with me because I'm going to do my best to work my way out of it. And I needed to attack the incomes one at a time. I needed to come up with an idea. I needed to test that idea out. I need to make that idea work. And I need to have that idea working on its own merit. For example, Hector's Draw. Hector's Draw, you all know now, Hector's Draw is at the beginning of every stream. You must get your entries by 8 o'clock the night before. George's Draw, the end of every stream, you must get your entries by 8 o'clock the night before. Those two draws are set up. Those two draws don't make a massive profit. Those two draws are there every single day. You know they're there every single day. And as each draw goes on, so the money goes up just a little bit. Each month goes past, so the money goes up just a little bit. Now, if I just relied on that and nothing else, well, I might be on a hiding to nothing, but I don't. We have that going on, as well as the other 14 various income streams going on. And so with everything working at the same time and everything helping each other and building upon each other, so the income goes up exponentially, so that we get to a point where we are now, where I'm turning over 3 to 5 grand a week. Now, that's still not enough, because if I started taking out £1,000 a week to pay this or pay that, whatever, then I'm going to cause the business problems. That's no good. We can't cause the business financial problems. We've got to get the business out of financial problems. And one of the first milestones is to get the supplier paid right off. Remember, 40 grand I owed them when we crashed, and that's down to like between 4 and 5 now. So it's getting there. So in my mind's eye, everybody will get paid. Everybody. Even the people that right at the beginning gave me my second life, if you like, gave me my second wind by saying to me, look, Ian, I'm happy to accept goods for the money you owe me so that you're not under any pressure. You're not under any stress from me. And those people accepted goods to the value of. And for all I know, some of those people might have sold those goods, got their money back. Some of those people may very well have just sat on those goods. And at some point in the future, those people will be able to come forward to me and say, well, okay, Ian, any chance you can have some of these goods back, and I'll have the cash, and I'll be able to do that, and I have no problem doing that because they helped me in the first place. And I've said throughout that, you know, people with an investment need to look after their investment. Now, some people haven't. Some people have just forgotten about it because maybe they're convinced that, you know, Ian will eventually go under and they'll never get anything. Some people, on the other hand, have taken one look at it and said, well, actually, I still believe in you, Ian, and I still think that you'll come through, so I'm going to give you a little bit more investment. And without that little bit more investment, believe me, we wouldn't be here. You know, because when we come up with, like when I came up with the idea of doing a coin for every city, it's all right just thinking of these things. It's all right. Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. Yeah, because if we do a coin for every city, then that means that we've got the name of every city in a title on eBay. So the amount of cover that gives us is huge. And anywhere else it might get listed. And various other bits and bobses. And of course, you know, you've then got like, but there's 1,000 of each one. So that means a numbered COA from 1 to 1,000. That's 69,000 COAs just for the cities, the cost of which was over £3 grand, let alone the cost of the coins. So just coming up with an idea is like suddenly you've got a £5,000 or a £10,000 layout. But the return on 69,000 coins is something like 350,000 pounds. So over time, that money comes in. Well, that's been paid for now. So those coins, they just sell every week. Every week. There's a city coin sell, there's a city coin sell, there's a city coin sell. If you can replicate that 100 times over, so that every week you're selling one of those, and every week you're selling one of those, and every week you're selling one of those, but you're doing that 100 times on 100 different ones, then you're selling 100 a week. You do it, there's 2 of each one every week, then you're doing 200 a week. So you start to understand where the money's going to come from to actually pay back the people that are playing the game. Because when you've got somebody on 150,000 points and they're at the top of the leaderboard, that means that person has got £150,000 to come one day. Now, you've also got to realise and understand and accept the fact that anything can happen. We already know half a dozen people in China, the other side of the world, can get sick, and that can close down the world. That's happened. If anybody had told us that could happen beforehand, we'd have all gone, rubbish. It happened. That's exactly what happened. Half a dozen people got sick, wallop, spread, gone around the world. Caused disruption to every single person of some description. Every single one of you that's watching this, it's caused you disruption of some magnitude, some amount. But we've got through it, haven't we? We've got through all of that. And we're still here. I'm still here. A lot of people have got through it. A lot of people didn't, must admit. So anyway, I digress. Getting back to the leaderboard. So the money is growing exponentially. It's getting to a point where I want it to get to. Once it gets to a point where I hit my target, my overall target, I now know that at that point I can start settling people. I can start giving people cash for their investment that they're owed. regardless of when that investment was made, I would be able to get into a position where I could start offering people cash for the investments that they're owed and paying them off. That makes sure that their investment was worthwhile to them because they get paid out. They get paid out and they get paid out with interest. And that is what it's all about. That's all it's about, isn't it? At the end of the day, you put money in like a venture capitalist, you want to be able to get money out. And the only way that you can do that successfully is you've got to make it attractive to people to put the money in. And you've got to be able to get to a point where you can pay the money out. And so that's what I've done all the way through, even with the hiccups and the stoppages, etc., on all of that happening. That's what I've always tried to do, is make it attractive and at the same time make sure you pay people out. So the investments now are extremely attractive because we have a clearer direction of where we're going and how we're going to get there. And as I say, having investors and having people that have invested again and again and again in order to help me get through this period to come out the other side and pay all the different things that need paying, to be able to buy the tokens, to be able to buy the package coins, to be able to buy the P-Defaults, etc., even though I'm not making a great deal on them. But to be able to turn this stuff over so that we can keep getting out our name and website details to new customers and new customers and new customers all the time. So that's where the money comes from, or the money is going to come from. The money will come from these areas that I've set up in order to pay people back from the leaderboard. And remember, before you have anything else, you've got a potential of 60 grand a month with the raffle subscriptions. You have 30 million pounds worth of memberships that can be used as currency. There is a phenomenal amount of money that gets used as currency as raffle credit because you buy that, you know, and you buy it and you spend it. And then we have all the other draws and the things where we're setting things up. We've got this £1 per entry to win a direct entry, and then with that direct entry, you win a gold coin or choice of something really tasty. So all of these things, I mean, it must be actually closer to 20 different income streams is what's been set up over the course of what, 18 months, 2 years. So I have to say, I'm quite proud of what I've managed to set up. I'm quite proud of what I've actually set up. I'm quite proud of the different income streams that I've set up. I'm quite proud of the fact that I've been able to get to the point that I'm at. And I'm quite proud of the fact that we're still here. I'm still here. No, that's putting too much in it, yeah. See, got to lose weight. Got to lose weight here. Stop this noshing biscuits at night, chocolates, and things like that. So thanks very much for watching and listening to all this. And I hope that it now is a lot more understandable. What you're doing is you're playing a game. And you need to take the view that, yes, this could still crash and burn. Anything can happen. If the pandemic has taught us one thing, it's taught us that anything can happen. Absolutely anything at all. So yes, you know, can we crash and burn? Can we get to a point where those leaderboard points are just not worth tuppence? Yes, I suppose we could. Do I believe that? No. With every breath in my body, with every sinew of my body, I believe that we're now going to make it. I believe that we're going to come out the other side. And I believe that absolutely everybody that's owed, everybody that's on that leaderboard, no matter what round of investor you are, everybody will get paid. Simply because of what is being set up and what has been set up and what is now going to happen, what is now going to come in. I mean, when we talk about the TGBCH coins, as I say, we've got to a point now whereby I'll do a coin and say, right, there's 100 of these available. We'll sell 30% of those as a minimum before that coin has even arrived. You know, now when we first started this, you know, it wasn't 5%. Being able to sell 30% means that I can cover the cost of the 100 before they've even arrived. So that is huge on its own, and that is growing and growing and growing. It won't be long before you see a TGBCH coin get sold for 20 quid on eBay, and you might think, well, that's absolutely crazy. Well, it might be crazy, but it's only a token. It's not even face value, it's only a token. Yes, I totally understand that. It's only a token. A postcard is only a postcard. Postcard is a postcard is a postcard. You take a postcard, you take a pen, you write on it, you put a stamp on it, you put it in the post. A postcard has no value. It's just a bit of paper. It's nothing else but a bit of card. It's just a postcard. There are postcards that change hands for hundreds of pounds. That's only a program for the theatre. That's all that is. It's only a program. It's never going to be worth any money. Look, they've got 400 of them. They've got 1,000 of them over by the counter. Go and buy as many as you want. Problem is, most of those will end up in the bin. Programs can be sought after. Programs can change hands for thousands of pounds. How about a picture? A print, a picture, nothing fancy. It's just a leaflet. It's just a massive, great big leaflet, but made into the size of an A2. So that they stick it on the wall down by the pictures and tells you what's coming on at the pictures. It's only a bit of paper. It's never going to be worth any money. They've got loads of them rolled up in the back of the cinema office. Of course they have. Some of those posters sell for hundreds, if not thousands of pounds. Why? Simple supply and demand. There was lots of them once. There aren't many of them now. And there are people out there that collect them. And when those people out there collect them and they can't get that one, and that's the only one that they can get, they'll pay a premium for it if they can afford it, because they want it for their collection. What something is worth to one person isn't necessarily worth the same price to another person. Do you see? That comes into a lot of the advice I give over the values of coins. You know, when it comes to supply and demand. What's a bus ticket? Bus ticket. It's just a bus ticket. It's the cheapest possible bit of paper you could get. It is the cheapest possible printing that you could get on said piece of paper. But, you know, don't take my word for it. Why don't you go onto eBay, search the word bus ticket, hit the button, see all the ones that are available, and then hit the button and say, show me the most expensive first, the highest price first. And it will change it and it will show you from the highest price down to the lowest. And be prepared to spill your coffee as you read it. What? For a bus ticket? Are you mental? It's there. Do the same thing for a program. Do the same thing for a film poster. Do the same thing for a postcard. All of these things were never made and designed to be collectible. Not really. The film posters were never designed for that. They were designed to make loads of them, distribute them out to all the cinemas, put them up on a wall, advertise next week's film. Once the film's been and gone, take the posters down, throw them away in a skip. Get the new posters out for the new film. That's what they were designed for. They weren't designed to go on your wall and my wall, but that's where they end up. as collector's items in frames. And our tokens are no different from the point of view that there are people that already collect them and therefore will buy every single new one that we bring out. Whether we bring out 100 in a year or 10 in a year, they'll buy every single one. And there are people in the future that have never heard of a TGBCH coin yet, that at some point in the future will come along and they will want to partake. They will want to get into or buy a TGBCH coin. We already have people that started off buying the city coin of where they live, and then the city coin of the next city to them, and then they ended up and still are coming back to us on a weekly basis, buying several coins a week, because they're probably buying it out their wages and they can only afford a certain amount, so they might buy half a dozen coins a week in order to get the full collection of the city series together, and then maybe move on to another design or another series of coins that we've got. So I absolutely know 100% that our coins will be collectible, and I absolutely know that our coins will go to above 20 quid each. Some of the designs will go to above 20 quid each because people will want them and they will be sought after. And the people that had the foresight to actually go down the road of not only buying one for themselves, but buying an extra one, because there are one or two people that buy an extra coin. They get extra coins, or either saving them for their grandchildren to make collections up, or they're making their own collection, plus they're making, extra one of each coin to sell later on when they go up in money, because they're trusting in the fact that I'm saying they will go up in value. So imagine getting to a point where, you're able to sell these for 20, 30, 40 quid each. You can't imagine that now. There are people, you just couldn't imagine taking a TGBCH coin and selling that for 40 or 50 quid some years down the line. Will a TGBCH coin reach 50 quid? Absolutely. Absolutely guaranteed. At some point in the future. Absolutely. Am I on a hiding to nothing trying to convince you of that now? Yes, I am. Yes. Yeah, it would be like trying to convince you that if you go into your garden and cut 12 blades of grass, you could sell that for a £5. It's such a ridiculous concept. Or it would be like trying to convince you that if you take a container and you go into the country and you do that and you bang the lid on quick and go, got some country air there, bit of country air, going to sell that. You'd think I was off my crocker, wouldn't you? If I tried to convince you of that. Let me tell you, there's a bloke down here that's been selling Dorset air in a jar for 40 quid for years. I think his biggest order was £40,000 to China. If somebody had tried to convince you 10 years ago that the free toys that they give away at McDonald's for the kiddies meals, those free toys will be worth £5, £10, £20 each, you'd have wanted to see whoever told you that news. You would want to put them in a psychiatric hospital. That's how much you would disbelieve it. Search eBay for McDonald's toy and then ask it to show you the highest one first. In fact, anything that you can think of that's obscure, search the word empty jar and ask it to show you the most expensive. Search anything you like. Search a empty record sleeve. Yeah, who'd have thought there was money in that? An empty record sleeve. Search one of those. Search that. Tell it to show you the highest price first, and look down and see. Obviously, there's always someone that's putting ridiculous money for something that ain't worth it. But and get it to show you the sold items. See, that's the thing. Click on sold items, and it's got it in the highest value of the ones that are sold. And you will be amazed at the items that there are that you would ordinarily consider you should throw away and put in the bin, and they're actually worth money. A Marmite jar. A Marmite jar, worth money. An OXO tin. Put your OXOs in, worth money. Search. OXO tin, Marmite jar. Show me the highest price first, sold. And you look at one that was made 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever. Vintage and all the rest of it. So anything you can think of, anything, any kind of obscure item that you would ordinarily throw in the bin, you know, now and again, just have a little search and see. I'm going to do what Ian said. I'm going to have a little look, just for the fun of it. And it will blow your mind. I've understood the supply and demand side of things like that for many, many years. And so that's what we've got with the TGBCH coins. We have got a collectible commodity that has been invented that has a serious limitation. If we produce a Club 100 coin, there's only 100 of those coins. We only need 50 people to buy it, not 100, 50. In fact, you don't, because 5 of those coins come off immediately for the people like me that want them here. So you only have about 95 coins that actually get sold. Out of that, you only want 43 people to buy 2 each. Sold out. Buy 1 each for themselves, buy 1 each to sell, sold out. If you've got 30 people buying 3 coins each, 3.5 coins each, sold out. Do you see? Don't need to sell that, don't need that many customers. You just need enough customers that believe in what you're doing. And that is the success. If you've got enough people that believe in what you're doing, that is the route to success. And that's where I'm hoping to be. So I'm hoping that this hour and a half has fully explained what the leaderboard is all about, where we've come from, where we're going, what we're doing, what it's worth to you, etc. And so to put that into perspective, if we have any investors out there that are thinking, well, actually, okay, now you've explained that in the way that you have, I wouldn't mind making an investment. Then here's the one for you: is if you buy a full spread, which is 4,500 is the new price of a full spread. It's on sale at 4,500. It should be 5,197, and that has 5,450 points. So the actual potential value of what that is worth in the future is 5,450 is what it's worth in the future. If you fast forward to a time where I'm buying them back, right? But at the moment, that's on sale at 4,500, which is a catastrophic amount of money. It's a huge amount of money. However, if somebody out there wants to get involved from an investment point of view, if you buy one, and we'll have this on for February, for the rest of February. So if you buy one at £4,500, because at the end of February, the sale finishes and it goes up to 5,197. So if you buy one between now and the end of February at 4,500, you buy one, I'll give you one free. So you buy a full spread, you'll get a full spread free. Now that is the equivalent of, so you put in 4,500, your return on that would be £10,900. So if in the future I can buy all of that back, you would get £10,900 back from a £4,500 layout. That is stupendous return. However, that return can only come if I make it all work. So you are relying on the fact that I make it work. You're believing that I'm going to make it work. Because if all of this still crashes into the side of a mountain, then of course you're not even going to get the 4,500 back. If everything goes crash, bang, wallop, I don't think it can now. I don't think it will. But anything can happen. Remember the pandemic. Anything can happen. Anything can go wrong. You just don't know. The things that have happened to me health-wise, you just don't know. Anything can happen. However, that is what venture capitalism is all about. That is what investment is all about. That is what coming in as a venture capitalist, as a what do they call the Dragon's Den people? But that's what you're doing. You're coming in on that type of thing because I believe that with that extra money, I can move forward faster. If I move forward faster, then I hit my 10 grand a week a lot faster. I hit all these figures that I want to hit a lot faster, and I then pay back a lot faster. So it's there. It's there to work for all of us. And in order for me to be able to do that, I need to borrow money like any other business. Now, the difficulty in borrowing money from the banks is that there's too much paperwork and nobody wants to really give you the money. I've put in for a few loans from the banks and they want to give you the cold shoulder, even though the government says, oh, don't worry, don't worry. It don't work out like that. Not unless, you know, you've got your own house bought and paid for, you've got a AAA credit rating, oh, then the banks will fall over themselves. So I choose to go to the people and say, well, okay, if I can get the people to invest, I will give the people back the same return or a better return than the bank. I mean, you've only got to look at your own mortgage. Look at the amount of money you're paying per month mortgage, multiply that by 12, then multiply that by 25 to find out how much money you pay over 25 years. And it is a humongous amount over and above what it is that you actually borrowed. So if you would like to get involved, if you'd like to invest, if you're an old investor that's thinking, well, actually, come on in, I'm going to give you a little bit more oomph, right? Or whether you are a new investor wanting to give a bit of oomph and join in, you know, if you buy that full spread at 4,500, and there are certain wheels that you can't get on unless you buy a full spread. You can only win entries on them. You can't buy an entry on them, but you get on all of them with a full spread. So if you buy a full spread for 4,500, which is one of each on everything, essentially the prizes that you win are like extra interest to you, right? Because you're going to win extra, you're going to win prizes, whatever that might be, sheet of coins, gold coin, whatever it is. Well, that's extra interest. You know, Rob Barnes won a gold coin on Monday, just landed, gold, wallop, just like that. You know, and silver coins and one thing and another. So that investment of 4,500 is actually worth 5,450. So when you buy it, you've got an immediate 1,150 pounds ish, 950 pounds ish. That is profit, if you like, for when it gets cashed in. But for this month, if you buy a 4,500 full spread, I will give you 2 full spreads for that. So you'll get 9,000 for that, but it's actually worth, because the points value is 5,450. So that would actually be worth 10,900. So 4,500 layout will return you 10,900. So that will give you a profit of 6,400 on that. Now, there's not many, you know, venture capital deals where you could earn that kind of a return on. You're only going to get that return if I make it work and everything pans out. But, you know, if I know this is going to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but Christ on a bike, look at what I've accomplished. Look at what I've accomplished with the help that I've had from a fantastic team and a fantastic exclusive customer base. And that only needs to increase a little bit in order to do everything that I need to do, because all of the hard work has been done. That's the thing. And it's not like I'm sitting here going, oh, if you invest in what we're doing, maybe I did that 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever it was. You know, maybe I can get out of trouble. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. No, there's no maybe. Now it's a case of we are going to get there. And if somebody amasses 250,000 points on the leaderboard, that's £250,000 they've got to come back at some point. Remember, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. I've proved that. So I'm here for you to talk to anytime. I'm here to come on and do the lives and the videos and the updates, etc. again and again. You know where you stand with me. You know what you're getting. And you should also by now know how far I'm prepared to go to make things right. What am I prepared to do? How hard is Ian prepared to graft? Any question like that, any question. How hard is Ian prepared to graft? What is he prepared to do? You can ask any of these questions and you can answer that yourself just by watching a few vids, just by seeing the fact of where I was, crash, bang, wallet, to where we are now. You would never have believed it. Those people that are new, you didn't see it. Those people that are old, you would never have believed it. You would never have believed it possible for me to go from that to this, but I did. And I can't take all the credit for that because I've had a lot of good people help me and some good investors help me and stand by me and stick with me to say, we still believe in you, Ian. We know it wasn't all down to you. We know you made some mistakes, but we know it wasn't all down to you. We know you've been damaged a lot and we're here to help. And they have helped and we've got through it. We got through it and we're still here to tell the tale. So for the month of February till the end of the month, if you buy a 4,500 spread, I will double it. And that's what you've got to come back in the future if all of this works out as I think it's going to work out. That's it. I think I've covered everything. I think I've given you as best an update as I can. It's gone on for 1 hour and 3/4. I'm sorry for that. There's no way you can do a full investment update, letting you know everything that's gone on, letting you know everything that we're doing, letting you know where we are and where we're going, and not do it in that kind of time. So hopefully you've just watched it, maybe had it on in the background or something. But that's it. Thanks very much. By all means, leave your comments. Anybody that wants to get in touch with me, you can do. And we look forward to continuing to do more of what we're continuing to do. This is my business now. I will continue to sell coins from the Royal Mint, even though I said I would get out of that, but I'm back into doing that. I will continue our own coins. We'll continue with the raffle site. The amount of prizes that's on the raffle site is unbelievable. I mean, there is so much stuff on there: gold, silver, really rare coins, Toshi Cat, for example. What is that? 300 quid. Kew Gardens, all this stuff, silver Kew Garden sets, all this stuff. It's an amazing amount of stuff that's on the raffle site. And all of our coins as well. If you haven't ordered your Birmingham Games coin or your FA Cup coin, please do, because they're both going to sell out. That's it. Thanks very much, and we'll catch up with you another day. Take care and have a bit of love out my bucket. All right then. Bye for now.